Okay, yeah, it's Brennan again. I'm redoing this social theory presentation. The reason why I'm doing it like this, okay? And so this is East meets West, but I have a better description. This would be the old world, like Europe. This would be Asia. Literally the left and the right being Taiwan, the most right-handed. Britain, much more, and Roman countries, much more left-handed. So it's like the Wild West in the West America. And so basically you have the Nikes crossing here. And basically what you have is, and then this, if you look closely, you have, this is will be your Mexico, if you will, in the middle right there, right? Latin mysticism. And then the old world are these fingers down here that are holding their own ground. And so basically what you have is the Rockies, though, they're locked in, right? And then you have East, the old worlds, and they come in together, and we retain our identity, hopefully. And so what? So you have this, and this is just much more bare. This is the Atlantic, and this is the Pacific. Okay, and so they're going in, and so it's it's almost like a gang symbol or something like that, which is, I hope you can see that how intensely complicated it is to say that there is an innocent minority within a statistical that is causing that, because that's sort of like sacrilege to say that the war you are fighting is caused by an innocent person. But you have these two worlds, and they're coming in like this, right? And so this one has to go over, and basically it has to escape this mountain, the Great Divide. Uh, it's utterly imperative that these loose threads. So I'm trying to make some notes here. So East meets West, loose threads at the ends of the New World. So these loose threads have to come off from the barren Rocky Mountains, the Great Divide. They have to go over the Rocky Mountains and come back, basically in that ocean, in that realm, either side. So it could be either side of the Pacific or the Atlantic, whichever your ancestry is from. The closest place is, so if you're like 1/20th Latino, Latin America is the place where you are going to find self-esteem. If you're the closest place. So if you're Latino and you were in another continent, then it would simply be closer to that place if you were a quantified prime case of normativity, nominal, and this only happens really in North America, because that's where the Great Divide is, that's where manifest destiny is. Now, this very interesting thing is that in World War II and World War I, you had basically this ambiguous promotion where you can literally see that people when the World War I and II were coming up, they were saying, "Oh, there's this great opportunity in the New World," and then it was reflecting America that a lot of good people had gone there, escaped the chaos of the old world, from that moment, from those situations, basically, whatever old world situations we don't know. They're secrets usually. Hollywood is in America. That's where the secrets are let out, basically, but they're not necessarily truth. They're just Hollywood. They do have a lot of truth to them, though, but it's hard to hear it. So, anyways, what we had in World War II, they're saying, oh, there's this great opportunity, so let's go to that opportunity and grab it. But what they said is, oh, well, the New World is for dogs. Look at all there's cultural chaos. So why don't you go over to the war? That's like the opportunity. So like they're taking that opportunity mentality of the New World, and they're flipping it over into some sort of death trap that World War II and World War I and II provided for millions of soldiers as well as civilians and innocent people. And this was partly because that opportunity, that great land of the Golden Gate and the Redwoods, people have traveled there since the steam engine, which is like 1850, but really the modern steam engines are 1820s, and when that was like highly available, everything was there, like automobile and everything for the last about 100 years, right? 1910 or so, and the Suez Canal made in 1917 made things highly possible, and that was you know, so you understand the transportation evolution made these images, these pictures. You know, there I am, available, and so people said, oh, there's an opportunity in the New World, but it's for dogs. Oh yeah, you want to go to the war? Yeah, that's where real opportunity is. See, the confusion there of sort of like saying this and that, you know, chaos. And so then all these soldiers went off to the war instead of the New World, and they died. A lot of good people, and then at the end of the war, there was not so many good people left. They had all gone off to the war thinking that abiding the New World mentality, and so it's this confusion, and this confusion can be solved by these threads. It's, you know, it's almost literally like the Wild West. You know, the Saber's Cross. It's like, okay, what is the actual conspiracy, and why does it happen, and how can you simply solve it? Because if you start asking why, you're going overboard. You're like you're you're going off, basically. You're going, boom, oh no, screw it, manifest destiny, you know, war. So like, and, you know, it's like start like having a shootout, right? But if you simply take those threads and you simply say, we can see that these loose ends that are not connected, that are not in the deal, they're not locked in. Happiness, normativity, nominal, your name, you know, your religious identity. So we take these threads and they pull off and they sew up the holes. And there are holes places. That's getting like too much information, but there are needs, and there are things, and there are things, you know. And I don't want it to sound like a joke. I want you to realize that there really is this quantification of absolute justice that is absolutely hijacked. People are always going to take it and confuse it, and they're going to say, "Oh yeah, there's a great opportunity, but you take this one instead." You know, as soon as the philosophy gets out, people are going to confuse it. So it has to be an automated policy of putting together, taking the threads, actually purely quantified thing, and the public really should know about the quantification, the normative and nominal specification, because it's a salesman's opportunity. People are saying, oh well, when you're in the New World, people say, oh, we love great people. You know, we love people who can do things, who can, you know, who have a grip, who look good, act good, behave well, behave normal, if you will, normal. But it's not all right. It's not all right. There's left, there's right, there's right and wrong. I'm losing it here, people. Anyways, you have to trust that a net that says advocating non-normative youth travel and transplant is just fundamentally imperative for our health, for our absolute health, the education. What I went to Germany when I was 20, and I had never been out of. I wasn't independent, but I was with my parents, and when I came back, my grades were better than they had ever been, just by that couple. It was about 6 weeks in the summer. Unfortunately, when I did come back, I went to a doctor and actually got injured at the doctor's. At the doctor's, I was ambiguous. I was like, it was because I had traveled in the summer and because I had never won in West America, and it's because I'm not of the cultural normativity. I wish I could throw more words at you. I just want to like, you know, I was going to act the fool, but I'm absolutely threatening it. Okay. No, I want to use any form of intense, charismatic, poetic affirmation to convince that the net is a science, and it's, I hate to say it, but in a lot of ways we're a little bit late. But there's always the next generation, and the next people in line are always going to be looking for that opportunity to deceive. To say, oh, well, you have a quantification. Well, dissonantly, I can sell you this this war. You know, like I have a cognitive dissonance, and so let's do a war. I don't want to sew up the holes. I want to dig down into the holes. You know, but if you sew those holes up properly with that golden, that magical thread, those threads of these loose ends on the end of the world, people who have seen the other world, and I simply have a silent ambiguity, and they're like tingling over there, and the old country, the old world is saying, those guys are tingling. Don't you guys care? You don't care? Because we don't care. Um, that's how it works. That's how it works. There's ambiguity, there's opportunity, that, and there's confusion. I don't have my notes, right? I never have enough notes. I'm just independently doing this because, anyways, okay, so let's do this, the scales of justice, the general theory of sociology, geography, and normativity, but also of sociology, and engineering. So this is the bottomless pit in sociology. It goes down and down. And the Tower of Power goes up and up. It's all this engineering things. You know, you could invent the most fantastic space shuttles, architectural glues and rat poison and building materials, imitation gasoline. You know, you have all these inventions, all these computers, and it's not going to make you happy. The bottomless pit is where we are free falling, where we are in love, we are just floating down. But if you're going down a bottomless pit, at the same time, you're looking at people, and there's all these problems. You're looking down and down and down. You find these problems, and if you can go down that bottomless pit and know that you have that Tower of Power to bring you back up, to balance you, they're and infinity sort of link going back and forth, where the and then geography is that's another dimension, the third dimension, geography, and general happiness, general happiness, content, which is just fascinating. They did this at the end of World War I and II. At the end of World War I, really, they realized, oh, people had been tricked by the geographic ambiguity, and all these good people had just been cut down in war, and you come back, and there's no good people, and that is really crooked, you know. I mean, not that all the people who got shot in World War I and II or who died were good, or that they weren't, you know, there weren't some bad soldiers out there. But if you take those philosophies, those threads, and pull them, you're going to pull them in, the loose threads, and this is the New World, this is the Rockies. Pull them in and tie things up and make things much more together as a heart. And it's just leadership of taking the most ideal threads, pulling. They make these traces, right, leads that people see that path, and they gather on that path, and there's a social ecology gathering like this, forming a thicker and thicker heart until you just have this huge heart like a halo above the new world, which is what we desperately need. And we also need to take care of our old world's responsibility of their political actions by taking these threads and tying them to keep them from being, by saying, oh, well, you don't care about them, well, we'll just do whatever we want, you know, we'll make a bunch of napalm and glue and, you know, bad products and sort of sell everything, when what you have to do is you have to take these golden threads and sew up the holes in fabric that the holes in social fabric that make the bottomless pit better. Okay, let's stop.